Cheers for His Excellency! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Deva! Honourable members of Parliament, the permanent secretaries, senior government officials, our not grandfather, but elder, Sir James Akoi, Kennedy. The commander of the Republic of Fiji Military Forces, the senior officers of our, the Commissioner of Police, Brigadier General Guillaume, the deputy and senior police officers, men and women, the Commissioner of the Correction Service, Commander Keane, and your senior officers, the friends of the household, members of the household, dear friends, members of the press, the band. Au ketika rau ni wadeng mai lam ni wala ba ketika sing itu ba please come in. The Colonel of the Regiment, Brigadier General Kusinga. Turun tetap nawale na panggawai lang kamkuah. And thank you for starting us off with a short sermon, text from the good book, and a short, very meaningful and inspirational prayer. Ladies and gentlemen, I've just rushed back from Nandi when I was told this morning that something's happening at Borron House. And on behalf of my wife and family, members of the staff, I would like to thank each and every one of you. The Honourable Prime Minister and I had a very long telephone conversation this morning about something else. And then he reminded me that just make sure that I was back in Suva at 3 o'clock this afternoon. We must have driven past each other on the way. But like me, he is spending some quality time with the young ones in the family. Because of the fact that, as we all know, the Honourable Prime Minister has been spending a lot of time away from the family. Wished him well, and I think he's catching up with members of the family who were not able to join him and his good wife for the Christmas Day. So in his absence, I'd like to acknowledge and thank him personally, and certainly the members of his government, the senior government ministers, officials, and not forgetting the commander, the Commissioner of Police, the Commissioner of Prisons. And in my capacity as the President and the Commander-in-Chief of our disciplined forces, this is indeed a very pleasant surprise. I had deliberately told my senior officials and my family that it's not every day that you turn 70. You know, people ask me, how old are you? I said, no, I'm very ancient. I'm not old. But I guess, you know, you're only as old as how you feel. After having said that, because on Christmas morning, I warned my team that we were going to go for our usual 5K. My son, Andrew, said, Dad, this is Christmas Day. Can't you give it a miss for one day? And I told my young son, the war doesn't stop on Christmas Day. In other words, life goes on, work goes on. And this morning again, we hit the road. But yesterday was another big surprise for me because I was getting ready to jump on the track. And it caught my eye. I saw a light coming through the darkness towards me. And lo and behold, this is my security detail with a cake and a candle. And they surprised me with a 5 o'clock happy birthday. But it was the 3 cheers that worried me because we didn't want to wake that part of the hotel complex. But God does work in mysterious ways, and I'm so thankful and grateful for what had happened. Like the Honourable Prime Minister, I was looking forward to spending some quality time with my grandchildren because most of the time I've been away. And for the last 2 days, we enjoyed ourselves. And when I was told to come and be here at 3 o'clock, I knew very well, knowing the Honourable Prime Minister, this was his idea. Because he did ask me some weeks back, and I avoided the question. Because I had wanted a very low-key affair, but I guess, you know, as the head of state, you can't keep your age or your birthday a secret away from friends, colleagues, and certainly members of the disciplined forces who have always been with you over the years. And Admiral Naupoto, thank you very much for the kind words. The pledge or the plea of support from the RFMF, and I'm sure you spoke on behalf of your other colleagues, the Commissioner and the Police and the Commissioner of Corrections, and all members of our disciplined forces. Fiji is going through some very interesting and challenging times, and you all know that never before in our history being elevated to within the international community. We are not only championing a number of very important causes worldwide, but we're actually leading world forums, unprecedented. And I'd like to congratulate the Honourable Prime Minister and his hard-working members of his government. We have stamped our mark as a nation in these world bodies. And certainly over the last couple of weeks, months, as the head and leader of climate change discussions in Bonn, and for the next 10 months or so as President of COP23. It is a global issue that requires all our focus and commitment as members of humanity, because it is a real threat, as you've heard before. It's a clear, present, and real threat today for the survival of our planet. And I'd just like to thank each and every one of you who played in support of the Prime Minister and his hard-working team, all the ministers who have accompanied him, members of the private sector, NGOs. It has been a good national effort. And it's only the beginning. We've got a long way to go. But we've achieved so much since taking over the baton. And I'd like to commend everybody's efforts and input in that regard. Next year, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be a very challenging and important year for this nation. We only got a few more days before we say goodbye to 2017 and we welcome 2018. As head of state, I'm honored and privileged to be leading a nation as we transition through this very important phase in our history. The commander quite rightly reminded us that Fiji, the way the world should be, was our sales speech some years ago, but now it is happiness for Fiji's, where happiness greets you or meets you. And we would like to maintain it that way. To the members of the disciplined forces, thank you for supporting government. It's our way of life. When things are going well, people take all that for granted. But they will pick and be very selective about issues that they would like to elaborate on. But I have no doubt that we're heading in the right direction. And as the President, Head of State, I would like to wish you well for the new year. And I have no doubt that with God's guidance and assistance, we will continue to prosper and progress as a nation into a future which is uncertain, unpredictable, but as a team and as a nation, as one people, doing very well. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for this wonderful surprise. And as the good Reverend reminded us, the good book says that our lifespan is about 70+10. I've reached that threshold. Anything beyond that is a bonus. I certainly look forward to being able to keep up with my team during our early morning walk runs and enjoying the cool breeze up in the Namosi Hills on Friday mornings. One's not getting any younger, so that pack is getting heavier and heavier every time. But I look forward to being the tail end Charlie of the team and bringing up the rear. My days of leading from the front are over. I leave it to the young fellows to do that. Right now, we just said goodbye. Christmas 2017. In a few days' time, we'll welcome the new year. So on behalf of my family and the members of the State House household, I'd just like to acknowledge and thank all of you, our colleagues and our friends, members of the disciplined forces, for giving up your time. This is our first working day after Christmas New Year. It's very hard to come back to work, after a good break. And thank you for giving up your time to be here this afternoon. I certainly look forward to reciprocating by getting people to come and share some pancake with my wife and I for morning tea. Afternoon. Sadly, I cannot host big lunches or dinners because, as you all know, the State House is still under renovation. So the interior of that building is in a mess at the moment. So hopefully we can have that done or repaired over the next couple of months so we can go back. So my wife likes to cook, and she can cook as much as she likes. And I'd like to invite people to come and join us for lunch or dinners. But in the meantime, this is where we have to host functions such as this. And I'd like to thank government. Minister Kayum is not here, who's in charge of the Borron House, for allowing us to use these premises. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who haven't seen the inside of the house after a few years, please feel free to walk through. We've done a bit of renovations, but there's a lot of work to be done. And I'd like to thank our engineers from Nabuni and members of the government agencies who had a role to play in renovating this place. I certainly look forward to walking around and shaking everybody's hands and wishing them well for the rest of the 2017. And it'll be remiss of me if I do not acknowledge and thank my staff for also organizing things without my knowledge, but I was told that they were actually planning something too. And just looking across at this big cake, I'm glad that there are a lot of us so we can help share the lovely cake, and compliments to the chef and the team in the kitchen for a lovely birthday cake. This is a day or a celebration of my birthday, which I will treasure and remember for a very long time. Because, you know, when I grew up as a kid, my birthday fell on Boxing Day, the day after Christmas. So I'm used to having the leftovers from the day before. But my mother always made sure that, you know, there's a special cake for me on the day. But thank you once again for this lovely surprise this afternoon, and thank you for your good wishes. Thank you for the support which members of our disciplined forces has provided for Government of the Day, and I'd like to thank the Honourable Ministers, the Honourable Chief Justice, members of the Judiciary for the way in which they kept things together. Sir James Kemuni, you reminded me that you were about 10 years older than me. But I hope that I can still be on my feet when I get to your age, sir. At the way I'm going, you know, I might be pushing my luck, but we always acknowledge and thank the Almighty for His providence, His strength, and His blessings upon each and every one of us. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, nasa valevu, bahut dhanyavad, and thank you, and may God bless you all. Nawalevu.